It's time for business combos and coffee. Yay! I have one of my very good friends who is visiting with us today. His name is Rahman Johnson, and he is like so special to me. Rodman and I have known each other, I think, like, we'll talk about it, but like since you're in high school. But today's topic, before I bring Rodman on, because I know I got to capture y'all in the first couple of seconds, let me tell you guys what we're talking about. Today, we are speaking on how the fact is if you pay attention, you can actually pay less tax. So, I'm going to give you guys four different types of ways, four different types of situations, four different types of expenses that you should be looking out for and making sure that you're giving it to whoever is preparing your taxes, giving those expenditures to whomever is paying your taxes so that you can pay less tax. So I got four things that you should pay attention to if you're an entrepreneur, and it's only three things if you are not an entrepreneur. But stay tuned right after this. Y'all give me a second. Hey, y'all. So look, let me get this stuff in view because I feel like y'all not in view over here. I want y'all to see all my ex-financial goodness over here. All right, so look, I told you guys that I have my friend, Mr. Rahman Johnson here. And before I get into my taxes, maybe I should give that to y'all first before I bring Rahman in. Because you know, some of y'all might be waiting on Rahman and not really my tax tips, and some of y'all might be waiting on my tax tips and not really Rahman. So let me give y'all what y'all came here for because I ran an audible this morning because my friends called me on this phone about 30 minutes ago. And I said, you know what? I'm about to go live in 60 seconds, Rodman. But because you called my phone, right? We friends always. He called my phone. I answered even though I was in studio because I knew it was something important. And it's something important that we got to talk to you guys about. And I know it's going to be a good time, y'all. We ain't rehearse nothing. We ain't practice nothing. We don't even know what we're going to talk about, except for I know I'm about to give y'all these tips. Okay. So this is what I said. I said it does not have to be tax season to show your tax situation some love. Pay attention and pay less taxes, y'all. Here are the four types of spending that make your money tax free. If you're watching me live or if you're watching this on replay, put tax free in the comment section for me if you want to actually really experience tax freedom. Put tax free. All right. Number one, and I'm going to give it to you guys in the acronym first. I teach it this way because I believe that every entrepreneur, every paying person, and if you pay taxes, that you should have AID, and that is AID. A for adjustments, ID for itemized deductions, and E if you're an entrepreneur for expenses. If you keep up with these types of expenses, the AID, AID, adjustments, itemized deductions, and expenses, you will pay less taxes. So pay attention to these expenses. So let me give you an example of an adjustment. An adjustment on your tax return actually lowers your taxable income. Let me take a sip of my coffee. An adjustment actually lowers your taxable income. Okay. And then an example of an adjustment, wait a minute, let me get my voice right. See how the devil don't want me to give y'all these goodies. Wait a minute. All right, an example of an adjustment is your student loan interest, money that you put into your IRA. If you're an entrepreneur and you have a SEP IRA, money that you put away for retirement. If you're a teacher, money that you put into your classroom. Make sure that you capture, because you know, guys know I believe in capture, collect, and keep. Capture those expenses, collect all your money so you can keep all your money. All right. I want to make sure that you collect your money, capture this expense, capture those adjustments so that you can give them to me if I'm your accountant. If you don't have an accountant, me. All right, when I do your tax filing and do your tax bill this year. All right, itemized deductions. Okay, these are popular. Itemized deductions are medical costs, charitable expenses, and mortgage interest. Okay, those are the top ones, and taxes that you pay. Now, a lot of you guys don't know this, but if you're in a high income bracket or you live in a home or you live in a state that has high taxes, I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, y'all, so I have a lot of Floridians watching. Y'all do not forget to capture your real estate taxes and your sales taxes. So that's a nugget for my Florida friends. And you can lobby your state representatives and city councilmen, because I got one coming in a minute. Mr. Rahman Johnson coming in a second. All right, y'all. So that's the AID. For E, expenses, all your business expenses. Anything that you spend in your business, make sure you're capturing it and you get an accounting system. If you don't have an accounting system and you need one, I have one for as low as $5 a month for you. So if you want to work with us and if you're interested, go to my link, go to Linktree Spiceda, and just email me there. Let me find my Linktree on here. Right? You just go right here, Linktree Spiceda, www.linktree.com, and you can Linktree me. Send me an email and say, hey, Spiceda, give me that $5 accounting system. And it's only $5 a month, and you can capture and keep up with all the aid that I can do, that I need to help you lower your taxes. So pay attention and pay less tax. All right, coming up next, y'all talk to me in the chat. Are y'all as excited as I am about talking to Mr. Rahman Johnson? Rahman is running for City Councilman District 14. Y'all better vote for my friend. Hold on, let me bring him on. Hold on. Rahman, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, Fred.
So from your favorite Kappa to my favorite AKA, how you doing, my sister?
I am doing great, Fred. I am doing great.
You know what? I don't want to take over your show, but Spiceda, I have known you since it's been 30 plus, going on 40 years. I'm not gonna tell her, even though
you aging us. Don't be when I tell people I've been an accountant for 30 years, they're like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yes," because you remember when we were inroads. You were inroads, right, with me?
I was.
Yeah. So my first job was at 16, working at VistaCon and Johnson & Johnson in the AR department. That's why I be telling these people, collect your coins.
Start early. You remember my first job? I never knew that I would be a journalist, but I guess I did. My first job was working at the Florida Times-Union as a reporter. Remember in that? So it became an amazing career, made me good money, took me to Nickelodeon and around the world. So I can't at all, Inroads gave us those inroads, like it said, to be able to do that kind of thing. So I'm excited to have had you as a lifelong friend. And you know what, even you made some firsts in history that I was so very proud of when you were at Florida State University. I was cheering for you with SGA and all the stuff that you were doing. So we have always been, I would not have made it through my science classes. Y'all, Spiceda is so smart. She knows how to do. If it were not for you, I would not have made it through science at Highlands. So thank you again 30 years later.
You know what? Was it Miss Hodge? Because you remember Miss Hodge used to make us dissect them frogs.
Victoria Neal Hodge. And what's funny is her daughter, and I don't know if you remember her son, Alvin.
He was a baby.
Yes.
She had 3 or 4. I think she had 4, right?
The ones I remember are Joanna, because she would talk about Joanna in class all the time, and Alvin. And so we actually are cool now. Her daughter, Joanna, is a teacher, ironically. And Miss Hodge had sickle cell anemia. Remember, she was sick a lot. She passed away, unfortunately, some years ago. But her kids, I keep in contact with them because they was like, my mama just said, that boy is something about him. And she would talk about me at home, but she would talk about them at school. So I felt like I knew them, but they are such
Look, I have so many stories about Miss Hodge. So Victoria, if you are watching, I just want you to know how impactful your mom was not only to Rockman, but to me. I remember one time Miss Hodge made me get back a gold watch, Rockman. This boy thought I was cute in school, honey. My husband is, but I'm gonna tell this story, honey. He had took his mama watch, I think, and gave it to me. I ain't gonna say who it is because he our friend on Facebook, but
Okay.
he might have a wife and all that stuff right now. But he had gave me his mama gold watch, and I was wearing it, right? I thought it was cute. Miss Hodge said, "Where you get that watch from?" I said, "Oh, so and so." She said, "Oh no, you're gonna get that watch back." And I was like, "But I like it." She said, "You better get that watch back." I had to get a boy to watch back, right? I don't even know if I really gave it back,
Okay.
Rockman. I think
Okay.
I pretended like I was gonna give it back because he gave me the watch back in band. So I gave him the watch. I gave him that watch back because Miss Hodge from then on, she told me do not be accepting gifts from little boys. And she said, and so from then, she made this independent woman who basically is like, I got my own thing. But listen, girls, y'all don't have to be so independent. Don't be giving them watches back, honey.
Look, it's a different story now. But Miss Hodge,
Look,
she was just so good to us. And I will, even though she was sick a lot with sickle cell, she would
yeah.
struggle in, and she made sure, because we were all in advanced classes. All of us remember advanced physical science and all of the honors courses. But we were the last class that had junior high. It became middle school after we left.
They did. And we're the first ninth graders
Exactly.
to go to high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So
I didn't go. Y'all went. I don't think
no,
I
I didn't go, because remember when we left, because you and I were in the same class, we went to 10th grade, but then they brought ninth with us. So we had you and
Oh,
I
okay,
had
yeah, because I didn't go because some of them did go to ninth grade early, but we did. We
we did.
stayed because we wanted to lead and boss the sixth and seventh
And
grade.
there we were. We were 7th, 8th, 9th when we left. And then by the time we never had like a freshman year, because we were seniors in junior high, and then we were sophomores in high school. So we never had as they would call it, a slop dog year. Remember
Slop dog. We never were slop dogs because we too special. We were never slop dogs. So anyway, so tell me, friend, about where you are. Like you are still in Jacksonville. You've had this amazing career. You've had this amazing life because I've watched you from the outside. And tell me, you've done so many impactful things in Jacksonville. And I don't think this is your first time running for office, right?
No, it's not. I ran, ironically, before I was 21, I think. At the time, I became the youngest elected official in the state of Florida. I ran for the Duval Soil and Water Conservation District. And speaking of sophomores, I was a sophomore headed into my junior year at Edward Waters. And it was not something, it was like I kept seeing a lack of progress at the time. And so I was like, what is going on? Why aren't people in our age group in this space? Why aren't they pushing forward? And so I decided to run. I won, I served. And then I ran for state representative, and I lost 4 years later after my term. And so it was a defining moment for me that I had to then consider, like, am I supposed to do politics? Am I supposed to do whatever? And what I've learned in this space is that I don't have to be stuck in one space, right? And so I went on and had a great career, ended up on Nickelodeon, ended up still being involved in community affairs and communications, and did some pretty impactful things. I've since gone to Edward Waters, and while I was at Edward Waters, I have degrees in mass communications and political science. Went to Seton Hall, have master's degrees in strategic communications and global leadership, and currently a PhD candidate at Jackson State University. And so I believe that the education that I have, the experience that I've gained through media and communications, and all of those things have culminated. And now I'm a professor at my alma mater, Edward Waters. And so all of the experiences and
What are you teaching?
Journalism, what I love, telling stories. Yeah.
Oh, so congratulations also to you guys for getting EWC. It's no longer, isn't it? What is it?
Edward Waters University. Yeah.
Edward Waters University. So for those of you who don't know, EWC, EWU is a historically Black college and university. It was a college, it's now a university. It's an HBCU in Jacksonville, Florida, and I am so proud of you guys because I've been watching on Facebook, so I know that you are a part of that effort,
Yes.
and it's just been great to see how impactful you've been in Jacksonville. Now, why are you running for City Council District 14? Where is it? Who can vote for you? Like, give us the politician talk, friend.
Well, this is the West Side. And let me tell you, the same talk that you got, and I tell people this, I'm a storyteller, right? So whether it's on stage, which I've won awards, or film or TV, or on the news, or in a classroom, and now in a political setting, I love to tell our stories and bring them to light. And so that's one of the reasons why I believe that I can amplify the voices of the people in my community. And so what happened, it's funny, I left home to go teach my classes at Edward Waters one morning, and I was living in District 10. By the time I got back home, my house had been magically transported into District 14, and my phone started ringing. I got phone calls, text messages. There was a hashtag some folks started that said "Run, Rockman, Run," and they asked me to run for this district. So it wasn't a decision I made alone. It certainly wasn't a decision I took lightly, and I took a long time praying and like, okay, God, you sure? Now you sure this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now? But the district is, and so I'm the same way all the way around. This, as you know, you've known me all my life. I like to laugh,
Yeah.
have time, but I can also be serious, and that's what I think it takes. Someone who has the personality to deal with all the people all the time and not just be in a serious mode, and to also reach across the lines, across racial divides, gender divides, religious divides, and bring us together. And so the district runs on the west, on the further west side. It's most of the west side, but the furthest west side out near Oakleaf Plantation, and it comes in through Argyle, all of the west side up to Sweetenwater, right? And so it's
My family better vote for you.
I
So I have family that live on the west side because that is the west side of Jacksonville,
yes.
and you know my parents do pop water. So that's everybody who played for Sweetenwater, live by Sweetenwater, you know, football park. You guys, you know, vote for Rodman for a city district councilman. Rodman, what you want the people to know?
Well, what's most important is we're dealing, and as you know, with the West Side, there are a lot of infrastructure issues that need help, sidewalks, drainage. What I want to do is focus on the nuts and bolts issues of the district. And as I've told people, and here's let me tell you before I kind of tell you what I want to do real quick. This district has never been represented by an African American before because it was so segmented, right? And so this district is very unique. When a federal judge got a lawsuit from the NAACP and some other civil rights organizations, they looked at the districts and said they violate the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. And so a federal judge looked at maps that had been presented by plaintiffs and chose one of the maps that nobody thought would be chosen, but it gave a person like me an opportunity to represent this district. So it's a brand new opportunity to do something new and different, but it opens the door because due to this reapportionment and redistricting, we're going to lose 2 Black people on city council. And why that's important is because we need to make sure that there's a diversity of voice. And when you don't have that diversity, our city, based on census numbers on paper, is browner than it's ever been. But our leadership is whiter than it's ever been. And that's not a good thing, because if we want our city to move forward, it's about diversity. It's about a unique blend of voices coming together and showing that we can move Jacksonville forward and be the world-class place we're supposed to be. But my issues are infrastructure, number one. Part of that is transportation. You know, the West Side, we want to make sure that we work with JTA and ensure that public transportation is available to all parts of the city on a regular basis, so that people who may not have an automobile can still get around where they want to go and get to jobs. The other thing is making sure that the transportation hubs, you know, we're in such weird spaces where you end up stuck in traffic or those things. We want to make sure that there's a flow, that amenities are available and we can get to them. Additionally, we want those amenities to be on the West Side. We don't want to have to go to the town center or have to go to Ponte Vedra or Nocatee for nice places and fresh fruits and vegetables. So we want to make sure those are available to our community. And last but not least, making sure that we have business opportunities. We don't want people to have to go to the South Side or go to other parts of town for work. we want to have sustainable communities. So if we can attract businesses to the West Side, places like the Cecil Commerce Center, which is huge. I've already talked to a couple of production companies. I spent my life, as you know, in TV and film, have already started having conversations with those companies about looking at this expansive space at Cecil Commerce and bringing sound stages and production here. So it's important that we keep commerce on this side of town and have incentives to bring more people to Jacksonville. And I believe it's not just about the West Side, it's about Jacksonville. That's why my campaign logo, it shows the city. I'm here representing the West Side, but at the end of the day, we got to talk about Jacksonville and moving us forward. And, you know, Spiceda, I have to tell you, there are two candidates in the race who are running against me. Both of them are former city council members, one from 20 years ago and the other from 30 years ago. And my belief is that we cannot get to tomorrow if we're still looking at yesterday.
Come on, friend. Come on, friend. You always could preach a good message, right? Look, you know what? One of the things that you said was that, you know, infrastructure, developing the infrastructure so
Yes.
that the transportation system connect adequately from the west side into the stadium, into the to the east side. And
Yes.
I will tell you, I actually had a conversation with a client of mine who is big on development, and he was boarding the plane to come to Jacksonville to look at JTA's, our transit system. Did you know that we have something that's world class in Jacksonville? Like, you know, I used to brag, and you know, everybody, you know, went to FAMU, FSU, you know, y'all know us as Duval.
Duval, right.
Duval is a pretty instrumental city in the United States. We are the largest city land-wise
Yes.
in the country. Okay, we are also we have an impressive transit system. It's one that, you know, someone came from here from Atlanta, was heading to Jacksonville this week to observe our transit system, to talk about putting it over here in Atlanta and implementing a transit system such as that. So it would be great for not only for people to come in from, you know, other places and mimic our system. Why
Yes.
don't we mimic that same system on different sides of town?
Well, let me tell you, and here's another piece, and I have to say this as an African-American man and somebody who is, again, a diverse voice in our city. Our transportation authority is headed by an African-American man, Nat Ford, who is innovative in what he brings to the table. Nat's the CEO of the Jacksonville Transportation Authority. And when I tell you, you're right, it is world class. We have moved in the last 10 years in places that we have never been before, but we still got work to do, right? And that's the thing that I think that's most important, that we understand that there's still parts of Jacksonville that have not quite made it. And so what I want to do is work with Nat Ford, work with the city, work with our congressional delegation to look at the Department of Transportation, look at the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and try to pull all those people together, because there's funding on the federal level that we can use to improve what we have, right? I want to make sure, one of the things that has been asked of me over and over is something, and Spiceda, I know you get it, affordable housing. We need to make sure that there are opportunities for people who want to have housing to have them, but we have to look at innovation. As you well know, the housing rates in Florida are astronomical. So people are being forced out of being able to buy a house, buy a part of the amendment. So let's look at tiny house communities. Let's look at boxcar communities, but also let's make sure that they have transportation options so that not only can the housing be affordable, but they're making a living wage and can get to the work they need to pay for the lifestyles. And I believe that that is what's going to take Jacksonville forward to be what Maynard Jackson saw in Atlanta when Atlanta was blooming, right? Or to be what Charlotte was when banks started looking at Charlotte as a hub. I believe that Jacksonville is on the precipice of its next step. And I'm so excited.
Well, I look forward to supporting you on this journey. I actually had the blessing a few weeks ago of being able to hear Andrew and Mr. Young. Yes, he actually told a story about like how we got the airport here in Atlanta and what happened and the intention that was put into it. One of the things that I will tell you that's been on my heart lately is, you know, what we see is not what we get in 10 years, right? It's very important. Development is a very important thing. I remember you shared that I was student body vice president at Florida State University in 97, 98, right? The campus that I walk on today is the campus that we envisioned 25 years ago.
Yes.
Okay. And a lot of times people think, oh, this development just happened, or this street just happened, or this new city just happened, or this transit system that connects east to west. It just happened. This may even be something that you get started, that you may be mayor or president of the United States when it actually happens, right? So it's really important that we bring in the right people that can see the vision forward, not only for ourselves, because a lot of times we don't get to benefit from the development that happens, in the city council meetings, in the boardroom, and as my pastor would say, in the booth, in the back, in the corner, in the dark. Like, we don't get to benefit from that, but it's important that those conversations are happening, and that because that moves us forward, that moves us into the 20th century. And this is one of my wealth talks, and I just got to drop this here, right?
Yeah.
If you really want to make sure that the value of your property is going to increase, you want to make sure that you are hiring or engaging or voting for people with vision, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of times our communities end up going down because no one put that vision, the work into the vision, right? We got Gateway. Remember, Gateway was thriving, popping, booming, and we thought that it would be like that always. I'm
Mhm.
gonna get a little churchy on y'all, and I'm sorry. Y'all gonna have to forgive me. But the Bible says that without a vision, the people
Perish.
perish.
Right. That's right.
And we cannot, and this is Black History Month, friend. And so, because we're in Black History Month, it's time for us to not only, review our history, but it is time for us to learn from our history and grow
Yes.
on based on what we know. And what
Yeah.
I hear you saying, and what I know for sure, and what I've learned for sure as a, ex Fortune 500, accountant. I'm an advisory accountant. So I'm not just a tax accountant, I strategize, right? And the
Yes.
experience that I have and I've developed, even as a 20-year-old, right? I had like a $3 million or $30 million budget, 30,000 students on the campus of Florida State University. We had to, sitting in those rooms, the leadership that developed the campus that we now visit, they're not there. They've moved on, they've grown on, they've retired. But it is important for us to see a world past today. Happy Black History Month.
Yes. Yes. And that, look, again, you were Black History. If I'm not mistaken, you were the first African American to hold that role at Florida State. Am I right in that?
I think so. I
I think
don't.
you
Yeah,
were. Yeah.
it was almost like when I was doing it, you're just like, okay, I'm here, and I didn't even want to be like student body vice president. I was, I was MPHC president at the time.
Right.
I was NKA president at the time, and politics on the life of a college campus is much similar to how politics is here, right? And so
Yes.
my friend Nick Irasi, who is now a big lobbyist in Tallahassee right now, Nick needed a running mate, and I was pretty much Kamala for him. And so
I love it.
I
Before
was
coming there was you. There was
Kamala
something
Payne,
else.
so like my soror Kamala, Nick and I got on this ticket together, and hopefully we made some differences. I know, one of the things is if I didn't make an impact on the campus, I hope I made an impact in the hearts of, other young Black girls and gentlemen coming to the campus. I made a lot of great friends and inroads, and I learned a lot. I learned
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah, you did, and it continues. And I'm so honored to say that with your business, even having the acumen that you've had working in corporate America, you've now taken it and you do this show, which helps us to be better in control of our finances and our taxes. As I have always said, people have asked, and as you know, Spiceda, I've won a bunch of awards and had some great experiences on TV. And so a lot of the one of the questions I get the most is what are you most proud of, right? And I don't think for me that there's like a success thing, like, oh, I made it and I got this award or I had this thing. You know how close I was with my mother and my grandmother. And I was able to say that when my grandmother passed away in 2005, and when my mother passed away, unfortunately, from ovarian cancer in 2019, I was there with them at their respective times of transition. And I was able to go to the funeral parlor and write a check, right? I was not having to sell fish plates and, go, at the time there was no GoFundMe, but to go on GoFundMe or to ask family members. And I'm not saying that to say that I'm better and that those people who have to raise dollars for to bury their loved ones is, I'm not saying that we're in a better space, but that was the proudest moment of my life where I could call the undertaker and say, I've got the money and I can do this. I can take care of this. I'm not waiting on an insurance policy.
Yeah.
That was the most proud moment of my life. And so and I learned that from people just like you, right? Who are doing what you're doing, who are empowering our community, who are explaining the necessity of life insurance, who are talking about the necessity of understanding your taxes and knowing how you can claim deductions and making sure your property values are right and all of those things. So I can't thank you enough. And I look forward to working with you in your capacity as a CPA, to encouraging because we still got some friends.
I teach now. Y'all need to just bring me back. I'm on the speaker circuit now.
Gotcha.
So I am, let me put this out here. I do teach. So if anybody wants me to come and teach my tax first aid course to them, which is what I talked about before we came, AID, which is tax adjustments, itemized deductions, and expenses, so that you can lower your tax and be on your journey to tax freedom.
We're going to bring you, if I got to pay for it myself, we're going to bring you to Edward Waters because our community in that area needs it. So you and I'll talk offline. We'll work that out. We're going to get you at Edward Waters so we can do like an event, because we don't have a lot of that. And I would love to bring, we have an area at Edward Waters, the Newtown Success Zone. One of the things that Nat Glover, was one of his initiatives. And it's,
I know Nat Glover. He was my sister's best friend, dad, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Kim,
girl.
Yeah. So we're gonna get you
there. A success center.
It's the Newtown Success Zone. It's patterned after success zones in New York. And Newtown is that area just around Edward Waters, like the Kings Road, College Garden area. And so I'm going to work with them. You and I'll be in touch separately, but we're going to get you there to come for not only our students, but for that community and take care of your fees to come in. And I look forward to having you there because we need financial empowerment just as much as we need stores for fresh fruits and vegetables and healthcare access. We also need to understand how to take care of our money. And that first aid course will be great. So we'll be in touch.
Well, Rahman, thank you for joining me, like impromptu, like being my friend for real, to be like, look, I'm going live. I know you could do this. You ain't gonna be nervous because you for a living. Dude, I'm not gonna talk to you on the phone. Listen, y'all, I talked to Rahman probably about 30 seconds on the phone.
Yes.
And I was like, can we continue this conversation in the what they call in the zone?
In the zone. I love it.
So can you tell
I love you. I love you. My love to your husband. Thank you all for being my friends, and I look forward to getting you back soon. Thank you.
Okay, it's Valentine's Day. Tell us, how we can reach you and show you some love across social media. Yes. And what I would like you to do is tell people how they can donate to your campaign so that I can put it on my screen. Please. And all that good stuff. You got the stage for initial show.
I don't care if it's $20, $5, $1, whatever it is, we can use the contributions of support because it takes money to get the word out to win a campaign. So please stop by my website. It's rahman.vote. RAHMAN.VOTE. That's my website. You can go there and donate right now. It doesn't matter how small or how large. We can take up to $1,000 per entity, meaning individuals or businesses, whatever it is. Go on, but we want you to vote and pass the word to everybody. You can find me also on social media, on Instagram at Vote Rahman. That's Vote RAHMAN. Also on Facebook, VOTERAHMAN. So Facebook.com/vote VOTERAHMAN. But that's all my socials. You'll find them also all on the website. And please pass the word. We need your support. Even if you're in another city, another state, another county, we need your support because it takes money to get people out to vote. We're in an off-year election. And so TV commercials, radio, direct mail, even the flyers that we need to knock on doors, those things cost money. And if I can have your support, that means we can win this race. So thank you in advance. And thank you for the love. Since it is Valentine's Day weekend, thank you for the love.
Yes, give my friend some love right here. I left it here. Contribute to Rahman's campaign, Rahman.vote. And Rahman, thank you for coming. Hold on, guys. Look, this has been Business Combos and Coffee. I am so happy to have you guys here. Like, subscribe, share this with your friends. And if you are my friend over there in Jacksonville, y'all vote for my friend Rahman Johnson right here. Down here, y'all see right there, wherever. Y'all vote for my friend Rahman. The election is coming up soon. I got a couple other friends that are running for office. I'm going to be supporting them because they're my friends, and I know that they are all about making life more simple for you so that you can grow on and live tax freely. Okay, I know that we live in the United States and taxes are everywhere we go, but I want you guys to know that you can win over taxes. You can triumph over taxes with TaxPlus365.com. Go to TaxPlus365.com, or you can simply go to our website here. I have TaxPlus365.com, or you can visit me at accountantthisway.com. I have an intensive coming up on March 4th, and it is the Tax Strategize Intensive. I have subnamed it Be Tax Free-ish. And so if you want to be tax free-ish and lower your taxes and learn more about taxes, then you can join me for an intensive. And all you have to do is go to my Linktree Spiceda. And I love y'all. And that's what I got for y'all today. Let me see. I think that's it. Love you. Bye.